Herb Heller. I am specializing in the organic food industry, consumer packaged goods and ingredients primarily. What I have done over the years is specialized with active owner founders from the early stage to the small middle stage, let's say, P&L up to 35, 38 million. I've been able to produce multiples of growth over various engagements, and really a soup to nuts level of service across all capacities, but focused primarily on operations. So I've held president, COO, and CFO titles, as well as have my own companies as well. So I came up out of the restaurant trade, ran nightclubs, hotels, private food service, and landed in consumer CPG because I'm very passionate about providing healthy food. So in terms of Blackmore, I would say, I had no experience with Blackmore coming in. I had some very persistent contacts who convinced me of the value, and got a great opportunity to come and see it.
Talk about the value proposition.
I think the value...
Parse it.
I think the value is, for me, understanding and getting access to some of the PE firms that are in the space, and learning that in fact some of the legends are not necessarily true. Some smaller deal sizes can work.
Yes.
Mostly what they're interested in is the skill set and the viability and the homework being done, and knowing they have an operator they can trust.
Yep, that's right.
And I think Blackmore, part of the value then is in putting those people in front of the deal flow, as it were, and providing a fertile ground for investors to see nascent deal flow in that stage is also very good. And I was pleased, I think, overall by the level of engagement of those parties that did take a meeting. Some genuine and deep interest in the space.
Yeah,
where
because they chose you.
Well, I think that was refreshing and nice to see. One of the myths, I think, for operators that I deal with is that PE is I'm not big enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not all the things that PE wants me to be, and I think that comes from a lack of understanding of the world of financing and the flavors of money and where you can get it and put it to work. I'm looking to create a company out of some connection that I make, either through this or other capital networks that I'm involved with, and Blackmore certainly has brought a lot of the elements together in a way that
So talk
is
about
different.
some of the elements and how it's different.
Well, usually the networks I'm involved with, you tend to see the owner founders going direct after a pitch to an investment group, let's say, and less emphasis on trying to place or connect people who can operate these companies with the capital source, where the owner founder isn't really necessarily going to be part of that thing. So knowing that they have an operator who can take it from where the owner got it, the founder got it, into that next space. I think that's it takes a lot of the legwork of finding these capital sources out of finding.
Do enough legwork?
I think it would be challenging to do enough legwork, and well, because there's such a proliferation of firms, that finding ones that are interested in your particular thesis is too much of a numbers game. You'd need a team of horses to do it, and or have some resources to spend on getting those deal books or whatever. So to me, if and when the time comes to invest more heavily into this thesis with a little bit more meat on the bone for future outings, I would definitely look at Blackmore as being a good resource. I mean, I definitely came in don't want to say skeptical, but
I hope so. Well,
with a healthy eye toward like, okay, I've done some of these types of things before, but this actually turned out to be much better than I anticipated, and I found the quality of interest to be very encouraging.
What about the other executives, the level of executives that are here?
It's hard to. It's sort of like you always feel like an underachiever in a room full of overachievers, right? I look at what I've done and what others do, and others look at what I do and say, oh, I don't understand how you're been able to do what you've done. And I think it's all, what's the old line, where you stand all depends on where you sit. I think that the caliber of executive is quite remarkable, and that I think that actually for a lot of them the value might be in learning more about that connection, because as you say, the connection to capital has happened at some other level or place in their organization.
Yes.
And this has got a more entrepreneurial feel to it. Everybody in the room seems to want to have that entrepreneurial decision in their mind already, and now they're going out to try to access the capital to do it. So that's exciting too, because I feel I've got a bit of that gene somewhere in the 24.
The way you talk, man, you're clearly spot on for private equity.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
It's just as I tell executives, you can't wait till you're ready to start building your funnel.
Right.
Because there's not only deals on your own, but there's deals that they're looking for people. But until you do that kind of, I don't know, have you ever had the pitch book demo?
I haven't had the pitch book demo, but I've watched some of the videos.
Yeah, but so it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because you just go, okay, I want to know everyone doing ingredients. So
right.
Every private equity portfolio company. Then who's the PE firm? And then it connects you to the partner.
Right.
And their phone number. Those are the people you talk to because they already know the business.
That's huge value. I mean, even, just coming in the door, I had, a handful of connections that I thought, okay, they could be funders, capital sources. So I've doubled my count by attending, because everybody that I met with, for the most part, I would say had, if not an active interest in
food,
an active interest in that they're looking at deals in the space, or that they have been looking for a way into the space.
Yep.
Right. And I think that always is encouraging, because again, you hear like, there's not a lot of PE money out there for the food space, organic food, forget it, but I don't.
I was telling you, yeah.
Well, I think people
that's
who
why when you
swallowed
that
story
to show you that in your own language, so you can see.
Yeah.
That's the way to accelerate.
Well, I think it's a network like this would certainly be
not just
very valuable.
But the pitch book, I tell execs, the conferences are great because they accelerate your learning,
right,
and get your pitch down, and so you really hit the high notes. So
right.
You create not only,
but it's the data dump.
It's the data dump combined with the
targeting.
Language. Yeah. Oh, well, the targeting, of course. Yeah. The targeting, of course, is number one. You really got to get to those right guys who know the space, because then it tends to rapport. But it's these master classes. The nuances.
Right.
What that does is it moves you up against everyone else, and they start putting you top of mind with everyone. They meet very few executives.
Right. Right.
They meet executives when they're trying to buy companies, but they have non-compete. They can't touch them for years. So they don't have portfolios of execs. I hear it over and again. I go, oh yeah, we meet lots of execs, except we can never work with them for X number of years.
You have to wait till they're not radioactive anymore.
Yeah, because the investment banking process is all part of making them untouchable.
Exactly.
So, it's great.
Well, I really appreciate the outreach and the persistence and the opportunity to come attend.